So today, I wanted to focus on Halo Infinite's boss battles, and I know I haven't talked in depth about these before, but we do actually have some recent news that should make things pretty exciting. So continuing on from Halo Infinite's coverage by IGN, one of the journalists was interviewing Paul Croker. When they were asking about boss battles, we actually found out from him that they are going to have custom-written AI for each encounter. Now, the reason why this is important is because when you face off against a boss in Halo Infinite, it's not going to be the same as just fighting a normal brute or a normal elite. Like, if you design a boss fight properly, then it becomes a much better experience and it makes the game better overall. Because if you just take a brute and give him 10 times the health of a normal brute, that doesn't make it a proper boss fight. And that's why I'm so happy to hear that 343 aren't just being lazy and adding health to things. They're spending the time to think it all through and make sure that they go about this the right way. The idea behind all of this is having custom-written AI allows for each encounter to feel much more unique and memorable than when you verse the normal version of that enemy. For example, when you eventually face off against Jaeger Redomni in Halo Infinite's campaign, it's not going to be the same as when you verse an elite with a sword in any other Halo game. It's going to be different. But we also got a hint of this at the end of the campaign reveal. When you see Jaeger, the environment around it all is really dark. And you also see some marine armor strung up over to the left, almost like Jaeger's trying to induce some fear on all of the people he's killed and hunted down, which is really cool. I love this whole aesthetic and the entire feel around this, so I think it's pretty safe to say that at least all of the members of the Hand of Atriox will have a similar sort of fight, where there will be a distinctive feel and a personality around the character that you're going to be defeating. And I absolutely love that because the developers are giving each boss a unique feeling and a definite sense of individuality. So that's really good to see, and it's going to help make sure that these boss fights can break the formula of past Halo games. To be perfectly honest, I don't believe this is going to extend to the mini-bosses. I think that this will just be reserved for some of the more main centerline characters like the Hand of Atriox. I don't believe that mini-bosses will have their own custom AI programmed because some of them are going to be there as a final challenge to certain locations. I think we saw a good example of this with the silo that the Chief took down during the campaign reveal. Towards the end, the brute who was holding the rocket launcher looks to be just a normal brute who just has a unique weapon to help make sure that there's a little bit of a challenge and some satisfaction when you take down a banished controlled location. I'm really glad that this is happening because Halo has really struggled with boss fights in the past. You know, you've got beating up an old man in a wheelchair and then you've also got the other end of that coin, which is the Tartarus boss fight, which is probably one of the better ones out there. So I think, all things considered, Infinite is going about it in the right way, because this is probably the first time we'll be able to see some proper boss fights that are entertaining, and definitely with some AI that should be able to provide a good decent challenge to players. My only concern is if these boss fights will be reflected in the gameplay. From the interview, we were able to tell that they want to have personality, and from what we have seen of the campaign reveal, those boss fights will have personality, and you will get a certain feeling of dread when you come across Jaeger, and probably also the other members of the Hand of Atriox. However, my concern is that going to be reflected in the gameplay? One thing I definitely don't want to see is I don't want to see a Destiny-style bullet sponge of a boss. I don't want to sit there grinding, shooting away at a boss for ages. I highly doubt that is going to happen, and it's definitely not the feeling I get from this gameplay, because I try to take everything with a grain of salt, and we obviously haven't gotten hands-on campaign gameplay just yet. So I think that's probably a good point to call it for today. I hope you all enjoy the video, and also thank you all for watching until the very end. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. You guys always have great ideas, and I am so thrilled to see that we keep getting higher and higher up there, closer to 1K. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so we can hit 1K before Halo Infinite drops. It's all part of the great journey. I've been Kiv, and I'll see you all on the next one.